Hello Hunters, Title Update 1 just released, introducing a plethora of new monsters and a few changes to the optimal greatsword sets. We can now craft more decorations such as Weakness Exploit and Critical Boost, which does make sets a little less reliant on talismans. We do also have Master's Touchback, but at the moment it's really not worth using on Greatsword because you do have to sacrifice a lot of damage to get it, and Greatsword attacks very slowly already anyway. Besides, we get Speed Sharpening 3 free in basically every melee set we make. In this video, we'll have 3 sets built around the Weakness Exploit 2 charm, which thankfully isn't that hard to get, so everyone should be able to make these with a little bit of grinding. This charm is still one of the most efficient ones in the game because there really aren't any good Wex armor pieces that have a ton of slots. If you don't have it yet, don't worry, because we also have a variation of every set with a Weakness Exploit 1 charm, which you can easily get from the Moonbow Melting option. The strongest set is by far the first one, but if you don't want to use that particular GS that we'll talk about, we have made sets for the 2 runner-ups as well. We'll be starting with the first and strongest set, which is 423 effective raw, also known as EFR, featuring everyone's favorite, the Nargacuga Greatsword. This GS remains the strongest overall thanks to its natural white sharpness, level 2 slot, and high base affinity. All of these stats let us stack a lot of attack boost and crit boost to completely nullify the low base raw of the weapon, at least compared to the other weapons on this list. The best rampage skill option we have here is attack boost 3. And thanks to the new Teostra helm and the decorations as well, we can easily reach 100% affinity with high attack boost and max points in crit boost on top of those 20 hits of white sharpness. That's a lot of damage. We also have Focus 3, which you should always be using on GS as it helps you get into your charge attacks much faster. The decorations required to make this set are 2 critical jewels, 1 tenderizer, and 1 charger jewel. For the level 1 slots, we recommend using Stun Resistance 3 and Speed Sharpening 3. If you're playing multiplayer, drop 1 speed sharpening for flinch free. Even though you have hyper armor in your attacks, you can get flinch from even starting those attacks. Stun Resistance 3 is very strong on Greatsword because you can actually get stun during tackles and adamant slash if you tank a lot of hits, so we should prioritize this over any other level 1 skill. Now don't worry, if you don't have a Wex 2 charm, you can use a Wex 1 charm and just replace 1 point of critical boost with a tenderizer. The EFR does drop down to 408 from losing that 1 point of critical boost, but the set is still strong. Now we'll be moving on to the second set featuring the Boss Kebab Greatsword. This Greatsword is tied with Diablos for the highest base raw out of any Greatsword, in addition to having 20 ice element and a level 2 slot. However, it does need Handicraft 5 to reach white sharpness, which really isn't worth it. In addition, it has negative 15% affinity, which sets it back by a lot. Before we look at the set, there is an important note about this weapon. You can actually get 2% more affinity on the final upgrade by selecting the Affinity Boost 2 Rampage skill while the weapon is still on the Kimura tree. The Goss Harag tree, however, only has Affinity Boost 1, so make sure you start crafting all the way through the Kimura tree and equip the Rampage skill before upgrading it to the Goss tree. Now this set has 408 effective raw, a comfy amount of 30 hits of blue sharpness, 81% affinity, crit boost 2, and of course focus 3. You need the following decorations for this set: 1 tenderizer jewel, a critical deco, 1 charger jewel, 3 steadfast, 3 grinder, and 1 brace jewel. If you are using this set, it's not really a bad idea to use a palette coat with the rousing roar ability, which does give you 30% affinity. And with this buff, you'll have 5 more EFR than the Nargacuga set. But do keep in mind that this buff is highly unreliable and reliant actually on just pure RNG. We recommend using this set if you don't like using Nargacuga and want to have more than 20 hits of your max sharpness, or if you just simply enjoy smashing monsters with an oversized block of sharpened ice. And with that Weakness Exploit 1 charm, in lieu of the Weakness Exploit 2 charm, we do lose 1 crit boost and our EFR drops all the way down to 395. Just like with the Nargacuga set, the armor pieces and decorations are the same, we just have to change 1 crit boost jewel to a tenderizer jewel. Now our final set is for the Tigrex Greatsword. This weapon has high raw and 20 hits of natural white sharpness, but its affinity is minus 15% and it doesn't have a good slot. The best rampage skill we can equip is attack boost 3. And on the set we're using the same armor pieces and decorations as the Boss Kebab set, with the only difference being that we lose 1 point of crit boost because the weapon lacks a level 2 slot. And this set actually basically has the same EFR as the Goss set, 75% affinity, and those 20 hits of white. Plus, thanks to the white sharpness, you won't bounce as much as with the other one. Now this set benefits even more from the Rousing Roar Palico ability. With that 30% affinity buff, the effective raw will skyrocket all the way to 432, which is still only 9 more than the Narga set that doesn't need to rely on the RNG of Rousing Roar. Now, the Wex 1 Charm version of this set does lose 4 points of attack boost, but it does gain 1 point of crit boost compared to the previous set, putting it at 388 EFR. You need 2 Tenderizer, 1 Critical, 3 Steadfast, and 3 Grinder Jewels for this one. If you happen to have a Wex 2 Talisman with a level 2 or 3 slot, the best skill you can slot into any of these sets is Critical Boost. However, if that's already maxed out like the Nargacuga Greatsword, then your next best option is Attack Boost. There is a Talisman that has no slots, but it does have Wex 2 and Attack Boost 2, that is even better and more efficient for all of these sets, but it was only available on one of the charm tables before the patch, so it's really not that common. That's it for this video. We hope you found it useful. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.